Good morning and welcome back to Geordie Rambles. Today we were meant to go somewhere called Blackdown, which is in East Sussex. I was going to get the train from London Waterloo. It's quite a nice day, it was sunny, and I went down to get the tube, and basically the Northern Line is fucked, for use of a better word. There were queues coming out the stations, there was platform overcrowding, and I thought, even by the time I get on the tube, it's going to be like I'd have to get a later train. It's December, it's winter, the walks was a 10 miler, so I didn't want to risk it sort of getting dark. Also, just the thought of like packed platforms and people trying to get to work, so I thought I'm going to leave it. So instead, I am going to take you to Hampstead Heath instead. It'll still be really nice. I'll still show you a load of things. I'll try and go to Parliament Hill and see what the views of London look like. I'll take you over to a really nice pagoda as well if that's open. And we'll have a venture, and I'll still talk about what I was going to talk about today. It's just, yeah, it wasn't meant to be. Also, Blackdown is a bit of it's not a mountain or a hill, but it's like a summit. So it would have been quite high up, and it is a little bit windy today. And I'm just using the microphone on my smartphone. But I have ordered a lapel mic. Get me, using the lingo. So I've got a lapel mic coming this morning, so I'm going to actually wait until the mic arrives, try and get it charged up, and hopefully the walk on Hampstead Heath will be mic'd up, so the sound quality should be a little bit better. So yeah, join me on Hampstead Heath. So I stayed in and waited for these new mics to arrive, and I tried to charge them, and basically I charged them for like an hour or more, but they're still flashing red, so forget the mics. I'll try and get the mics sorted for next time. So yeah, it's just meant to have ended up coming out a bit later than I expected to, and I don't know if anyone else gets this, but if you hang around the house, well, flat in my case, for too long, you just end up feeling a bit morose and a bit sort of like you almost don't want to go out because you've just stayed in, but even though going out's the thing you really need to do. So yeah, I've come out, a little bit windy, intermittent sunlight, and as I mentioned, we're going to go to Hampstead Heath. So let's go. So welcome to Waterloo Park. Waterloo Park is the park nearest my flat, and we love it. Genuinely, like, we don't have a garden or anything like that, and it's only about 5 minutes away. So in the summer, you can often come down for a book. Even on like a work night, sometimes in the midsummer, I can come down and sit and watch the sun go down and be quiet. And as you can see, there's not many people around, and it never gets that busy. It's really special. In so many ways, I kind of can't believe this park is in like Zone 2 London, because it is so peaceful, and you know, there's hills and there's trees, and it's really well looked after. A lot of parks in London often are very, very flat and, you know, essentially just grass, it's fine, and obviously green spaces are important anywhere, but this place does feel like somewhere really special. So when we moved here, I was really happy to discover we had such a nice park on our doorstep. And this is the famous Highgate Cemetery. This is where Karl Marx is famously buried. I have been in a long time ago. This side of the cemetery is really gothic. You can get a guided tour of this side, and there's crypts and, yeah, wonderfully gothic stuff. Absolutely lovely architecture on this road again. So to get to Hampstead Heath, it's about a 15-minute walk from my house, maybe 20, which again, so grateful to have that green space so close to home. And this will definitely not be the last walk we do on Hampstead Heath, with it being so nearby. And if I run out of time, this is somewhere I'll come and I'll bring you again. I'll try to take you to different parts, but today we're going to go to the highest part on it, which is called, well, I believe it's the highest part, Parliament Hill, which has nice views out over London, and I'll show you a couple of other bits and bobs as well. With it being more sort of, well, more central than anywhere I've walked so far, there's going to be a lot more people about, and I just have to be quite confident talking to you guys on here and not feeling silly. It's very easy to feel kind of ridiculous when there's people around wondering what you're doing. But all vloggers must have this, so I just need to keep going and sort of be confident with it. So as usual, I want to do a bit of a reflection and just see where I'm at. I think, as I mentioned at the start of the vlog, we're meant to be going out to West Sussex today, which I was really looking forward to. And it's obviously, it's not the end of the world that we couldn't go, and I've got that walk again for the future. And as I mentioned, it's so windy today, I don't know how well a video would have come out of there, but I think it's more of a reflection of where I'm at, that because I couldn't do that and that didn't happen and plans had to change, it's just sort of throwing me. And I know when I'm in a really good place, that wouldn't throw me. I just, you know, I just roll with it. And any sort of, if plans change, but it's just, as I say, I've sort of, because I went home, then I was sort of hanging around home, and I just couldn't settle to the change, which is just weird, because as I say, it's hardly a massive change not being to go out, you know, for a walk. But I was looking forward to getting out of London. But I'm out now and feeling much better. But yeah, it's not so much the fact of the plans changing, it's how I reacted to it that I'm kind of trying to reflect on and going, oh, I wonder why that's made me feel so sort of, not uncomfortable, but sort of knocked me a bit, you know? Just walking up Parliament Hill now. Bit of a dark and strange sort of fact for you this time was, rumour has it that Parliament Hill is called that because Guy Fawkes and his gang, or group, sorry for use of a better term, planned to come up here to watch the Houses of Parliament explode. Again, that's a rumour, no fact. I'm not saying this is true. That is just a rumour, but that's why it's called Parliament Hill. Today I want to talk about a slightly sort of sensitive topic, well not, yeah, but a little bit sensitive. Like, I don't feel I can have this conversation with many people. It's about money. And why I thought I'd talk about this is I'm going on holiday with my partner on Saturday, and we're going to a theme park in Germany. FYI, the other thing I absolutely love, apart from hiking, another one of my great loves is theme parks and roller coasters, but that's for a different video and another time. Yeah, so we're going away at the weekend, which is great, and obviously it's really, really lucky because loads of people don't get to go on holiday. You know, it's a privilege to get that experience. But whenever I think about it, I start getting really anxious about how much money I'm going to spend while I'm away. And it's not that I've got no money to do that, but I don't have a huge amount of resource to put towards like holiday spending. And it's sort of like, and I want to make sure I don't ruin the holiday. I don't want to spoil things, and I don't spoil things with my partner as well. You know, like if I'm worrying about spending money every time we go to eat. And it's not like I'm going to go on mad shopping sprees or anything. You know, accommodation, flights and theme parks all paid for. But obviously meals out for 4 days, it does tot up, and I'm sort of blocking myself from getting excited about it, which, you know, is silly really, you know what I mean? As I say, it's a huge privilege that I get to go on holiday. I will discuss holidays in another video as a theme actually, and talk about them in terms of mental health and everything else. But yeah, it just got me thinking about money, and like, since coming to London, it's been tricky to sort of, I've never made a huge income, which is fine. I'm always very, very grateful for the income I do have to make, and that I can afford my rent and I can afford to, you know, buy food to eat and stuff. But it feels like a lot of people around me, when I mix socially or with people I don't know as well, there's so much talk of going out for dinners and going out to the theatre all the time and going out and doing things. And, you know, maybe they're in different lines of work so they can afford to do that, or maybe they spend their money differently. Like, you know, I'll spend 20 quid to get a train ticket out of town. They might not want to spend 20 quid to do that, of course, to go on a walk, that is. And I'm just trying to be open and reflective about it, because like, if a week comes and someone asks me to do something, most of the time I have to say no. because most of the things that people suggest involve spending lots of money, and I don't have it. And that, I'm really grateful for what I've got, and I'm aware of how hard money and poverty really is for some people. I work with people who suffer from extreme poverty, and I know how really challenging it is for them, and you know, hundreds, millions of people out there, how hard it is. So alongside, as much as it sounds like I might be having a bit of a moan, I am also really, really grateful for everything I do have. But I guess it's just, it's like, how do you not let that get to you and not let it get to you down? And obviously, one of the main thing I'm saying is be grateful for what you do have and the limited resources and money you do have. What do you spend it on? And you know what? I made the choice to live in London. You know, sorry guys, I don't have a steady cam or anything like that. So let me just, and I can't hold it. Right. Try and hold it like that. Okay. Where was I? Yeah, I'm just wondering if anyone else has this experience that they don't feel they can do as much as other people, and how do they manage that, and how do you manage socializing? How do you manage when it feels like everyone else is on a different level to you? And it's not like you're ungrateful. I know I keep saying it over and over. It's not like you're ungrateful for what you do have, but how do you manage that experience? Or do you have that issue? Or I'm just trying to be reflective on it. And sometimes, if I'm really honest, sometimes I do get kind of, not pissed off, but irritated when people ask me to do things and I know I can't do it. Or if I do decide, let's say, to go out for a meal that I wasn't planning, like the weeks, I have to totally try and reshuffle how I'm going to spend that week. And I find that quite stressful. Speaking of being grateful for things, I'm always just so grateful this is on my doorstep. I genuinely don't know how long I would have hacked London for. Like, I've been here nearly 10 years now, but if this hadn't been pretty close by, I've always lived North London somewhere, I don't know if I could have done it. It really, really is like a place of retreat for me, you know? Any time of year, it's beautiful. And just to jump back and talk about going on holiday next week, there's ways of doing it with the budget, and that's what I'll do, you know what I mean? Like, I won't eat out for every meal. I'll choose some meals to eat out and then make some packed lunches for the theme parks. There's an Aldi, I think there's an Aldi, so I'll try and make a trip there. It's just, I want to make sure I do that and make those decisions, do those things in a way that's like empowering and positive, and not doing it because I'm scared about spending money. I don't know if all this just sounds a bit rambling, but I hope that kind of makes sense. And I'm just, again, I'm just wondering how you navigate this. Have there been times you're in more sort of financial instability? Because I've definitely had times where I feel like I've had nothing. Not nothing, but, you know, very, very little, and no savings and nothing like that. And it does really, really affect your mood. Of course it does, because we live in a world where it's needed to a certain extent for things. And it's a really nuanced conversation. As I say, it's not one I can have with everyone, because I know people who earn so much more than me and I know a few people who earn a lot less. So, and it's just being sensitive to that, isn't it? I think I mentioned this in my first videos, but I love these winter afternoons when the sun's out, because it just hits at a very certain angle and it just has a very unique feel to it. So I'm just coming up to the pergola now. What you're going to see was built in the 1900s by Lord Leverhulme, and apparently he built it because he wanted somewhere dramatic so that people could walk around during his summer parties. Yeah, quite lavish. I mean, talk about money. Might be over exaggerating it a bit, but I kind of feel like I'm in like a temple of ruins. Like it feels like Indiana Jones, or even better, it feels like Tomb Raider. It feels like a Tomb Raider level. All the vines and everything. I hope you enjoyed that little walk around the pergola. If you're ever coming to Hampstead Heath, do make sure to check that out. When I was growing up as well, like my family, we had enough money, but we did not have lots and lots of money. Like if we went on holidays when I was younger, there was no eating out. Everything would be bought in. That sort of thing. And that's not me saying we should be eating out or anything like that. It's just a reflection on, I guess, unpicking where that mentality comes from when I do start worrying about money, and maybe reflecting on sort of family members worrying, which is understandable, you know, and it's not to blame anyone or anything like that. It's just to be reflective and start thinking about it. The sun's suddenly gone in, like it's clouded over, and it's suddenly everything's just gone really dark. And as much as obviously I don't like the dark early night, it's kind of interesting that just suddenly everything goes really dark because it's cloudy and it's only 3 o'clock. But there you go. I was also like, just while I've been walking and while I've been filming, I'm just sort of thinking like, feelings of like, oh, this isn't very good, oh, this isn't very exciting. And it's like, the whole point of me doing this is not to make something exciting. It's to make something honest, and to make something reflective, and to encourage reflection. So I'm just reminding myself I don't need to be quite so harsh on myself, and just that self-critical voice doesn't, it's just quite loud today, and obviously it's stopping me enjoying myself properly on this. So there is Kenwood House, which is like a National Trust style property or English Heritage, I can't remember which one it is, one of the two, up on the hill here. And as part of it there is a bridge, but there's something quite special about this bridge, and something I found very impressive about the bridge. At the minute you can see that's got that lovely reflection on the water, but yeah, keep an eye on this white bridge. So here we are behind the bridge, and if you look a bit closer, it's actually not a bridge at all. It's just a 2D facade, which I really like. I think it's really cool. It was just built for like decorative purposes by the people who built Kenwood House. So yeah, we have a 2D bridge on Hampstead Heath. It feels very Jonathan Creek, for anyone who gets that 90s reference. I'm on the most northerly side of the Heath now, and got another nice view into the city there. You can see the Shard and then city to the left of it. Light's not so good now. So I'm just having a quick sit down, and then I'm going to leave the Heath. So I'm going to leave the walk there. I'm going to leave before it gets too dark. Thank you so much for coming. I know this walk hasn't been quite as exciting as the last two. Well, maybe that's just me because I do it all the time. Yeah, and I haven't felt as present during this walk, and I can definitely tell my mood's a little bit low today, but that's okay. And again, the whole purpose of why I go on walks isn't to suddenly become happy. It's just to offer that place and to give space for reflection. So that's okay. And it's, you know, as I was talking about earlier about the self-doubt, it's okay that those thoughts came today. I'm still glad I came out. I'm still glad I recorded, you know, and I still feel better for getting out of the house. So yeah, once again, thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe. More walks coming, as I keep saying. Please give the video a like as well, because that helps get it some traction on YouTube. I'm heading up to the northeast in a couple of weeks, and I want to try and get as many vlogs in there as I can. I've got loads of great walk ideas in Northumberland, Tyne and Wear, and beyond. Yeah, thank you so much again. I've also loved reading everyone's comments. Seeing everyone's reflections on the topics I've discussed in the video has just been absolutely amazing, getting the different perspectives and people being really honest about stuff, which is what I want to try and encourage, you know. So again, feel free to comment below about what I've spoke about today. I know today's was a bit of a funny topic with money and it was difficult to talk about, and maybe I'll come back and talk about it again at some point, or just comment on the walk itself. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.